Today we're doing a deep dive into the psyche of a woman. So I'm listening to this book called Women Who Run with Wolves. And her name is long. In fact, I forgot what her name is. But she has a PhD. She is an amazing storyteller. Like, I felt like it was such a treat when I got to listen to her tell the stories of Cinderella, except it was the rated R version. It wasn't the PG version. She talked about so many wonderful things. Like, she dug really deep into the woman's psyche, and it was so profound, and it was so amazing, and such an amazing journey to be a part of. Incredible. So today is a very sad day, but a good day. So our dog Maddie had her left eye removed, and she's just traumatized. She's kind of shaken up and very quiet and still, and when I took her out to go potty, she just froze because she was just scared, and everything felt so different, you know, when you just rely so strongly on your senses, like your eyes, and all of a sudden she only has one. The other eye had a cataract, so she wasn't seeing too much, but just the fact that it wasn't there and she was in pain, she was disoriented, it threw her for a loop, so she just froze out there. Poor little girl. Hopefully she'll feel better really soon. So please send her lots of vibes and prayers and intentions and good thoughts for fast healing and emotional recovery. She needs it. She doesn't need it, but she could use it. Because everything that she needs to truly live her most powerful life already exists within her. So, yes, so as I was saying, I was listening to this book, and I was just floored about, like, the wonderful stories that came out of it. And one of the stories that she shared, I was going to go with the rated PG version today because the other versions were kind of scary. So let's go with the PG version today. So, hey Fly Honey 77. So today's PG version is, her name was, instead of Cinderella, her name is Vesselina. I think that was her name, Vesselina. So Vesselina had two stepsisters and one stepmother. And Vesselina had this doll that she kept in her apron pocket. And her stepsisters, her stepmother, grew tired of Vesselina, and they said, you know what, let's, you know, we rely on the fire every day, so let's go ahead and put out the fire, and then Vesselina, she can go out into the woods and look for fire. Maybe she'll find the big bad wolf or the mean evil witch, and then the mean evil witch will kill her. So they put out the fire, and Vesselina, she comes home, she goes, what happened to the hearth? What happened to our fire? And they said, oh, it's out, you know, and I'm here protecting the house as a stepmom, and my daughters are too scared to go out there and get some fire, so you get the job. You get the job of going out there to find the fire. So Vesselina walks out into the wilderness, and she starts looking for a way to get fire. And they said, yeah, you should definitely go find the witch, and she can probably help you with the fire. And so she goes out there, and she doesn't know where this witch lives. She doesn't know where to go. So she reaches her hand into her pocket where the doll is, and she would hold the doll and touch the doll, and whenever she felt the doll, she felt safe. And she wanders out to the forest, and she asks her doll, should I go left? Should I go right? Like, which direction should I go? And so she listened to the doll, and sure enough, she ended up facing the house of the evil witch. And the house is scary. This house is very scary. It's huge and it's dark, and the fence is made of human bones with skulls, with fire going through the nose cavity and the mouth and the ear holes and the eye sockets. Like, it's clear that this evil witch has killed lots of people, lots of humans, and she used the human remains, the bones, to be her picket fence, if that's not enough of a warning to tell you to stay out of her way. And so she knocks on the door, and she's like, the witch is like, what do you want? And Vesselina's like, could you give me some fire? Because we don't have any fire at our house, and if we don't have any fire, we're going to die. And she goes, well, what makes you think I'm going to give you some fire? And Vestalina touched her doll, and she's like, because I asked. And the witch is like, well, that's the right answer. So I don't have time to help you today, but I'll help you tomorrow. In the meantime, if you really want me to help you tomorrow, I have a pile of stuff over there that's full of dirt and poppy seeds. You can separate them out into 2 piles. Then tomorrow I'll help you and I'll give you some fire. So Vestalina, she's just like, oh my gosh, how do I separate out? Hey, Erdem Catlack. So then Vestalina's like, how do I separate out the pile of poppy seeds and dirt? And so she touched her doll, and her doll was like, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. So Vestalina goes over and she attempts to start separating out the piles of the poppy seed and the dirt. And she gets really tired and she falls asleep. And then she wakes up. She's like, hey, Kyle. She's like, oh no, I'm so screwed. How am I going to separate out the piles of the poppy seed and the dirt? I totally fell asleep, and now it's morning. And the witch said if I didn't have it done by the morning, then I wouldn't get the fire. But then she looks over, and then sure enough, the poppy seeds were separated into one pile, and the dirt was separated into another pile. Maybe the elves helped her overnight. And so the witch comes out. She goes, I don't know how you managed to separate out the piles of the dirt and the poppy seeds, but I guess you got that done. So then she goes, here, if you want to bring fire back to your house, go ahead and take one of my skulls. Because, her skulls had lights in them. They had fire in them. And so Vestalina, she was going to thank the witch, but then she touched the doll and she realized, oh, I shouldn't thank the witch. I should just go on my merry way and take the skull with the fire in it on a body, on a stick, a bone, and go home. So she carries this bone home with the head of the skull on top of the bone, and she carries it towards her house. And it's dark, and so she's walking towards her house, and her stepmom and her stepsister sees like this skull that is on fire, and they get terrified. And as she walks into the door of her house, she was about to say, hey, look, I got the fire. So her stepmom and her stepsisters assumed that she was dead because she was gone for days. And so they assumed like the witch surely had killed her. Surely the witch has killed her. And they didn't think it was Vestalina that was walking through the door with the skull. But the fire from the skull burned the stepmom and the stepsisters, and they perished and they died. And Vestalina was free to live on with her life. So the story, the moral of the story, is about the woman's intuition. So the doll that was in Vestalina's pocket was actually her intuition, and she listened to her intuition to know which direction to go to find the witch, and she used her intuition to know that somehow, magically, the pile of the poppy seed in the dirt would appear, and she somehow knew that everything was going to be okay. And it was just talking about back in the day, from the very beginning, from the origin, from the primal times. Like, women have this intuition within their deep psyche they have this deep intuition. Like, we were made to push babies out. We're made to create and bring life into this world. We're made to have this inner gut, this inner instinct to know how to survive and how to fend for ourselves and our young, to ensure the survival of our species. Like, women have an amazing gift. And, the last few days, the last few weeks when I was doing my hey Marie, last few weeks when I was doing my neurodynamic breathwork sessions, I started seeing a lot of visions that were beyond my comprehension. It's funny because the first few weeks I did neurodynamic breath work, which is a breathing method that Michael Stone created. It's a way for you to first release your repressed emotions that you've had over the years. And so the first 2-3 sessions, I released all those emotions and I got it out of my system. And so I think what happened was my pipe cleared. And so when the pipe is clear, then information can start flowing, and you start building new neural pathways to get in touch with your intuition and your highest intelligence and your inner divinity, and I call it the multiverse within you. And so I started accessing this stuff when I do my neurodynamic breathwork sessions on Sundays. And I started seeing stuff that I really didn't understand. Like, I would see like pictures of like myself as a tribal leader next to my husband, or I'd see myself wearing like this headgear and this clothing that was all very tribal-ish, and I never understood like what it meant. And then I see these symbols and things, and I really didn't understand. And my master life coach, she sends me this book, and it's called Women That Run with Wolves. And in this book, the author, she speaks directly into my soul. Like, she talks about the inner psyche of the woman, the divine origin of the woman, like how you have all this intuition, you know, that you just have, like you have this thing. And I didn't know that I could access it. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't know its origin and stuff. And it just started making a lot of sense. And it's funny because sometimes the inner psyche of a woman, as I speak for myself, sometimes I think really disturbing things. Like, sometimes I think, you know, if I could end my life right now, like I could jump in front of a car, I could, or if I dropped my kid, or I, you know, like Ava, she's 2.5, you know, and I was like, oh my gosh, like she's so fragile and so little, like I have the ability to like kill her, you know, if I'm not careful. And I was thinking, why would you think such disturbing things? Like, why would you have such a disturbing thought in your mind? And I was thinking, where the heck did that come from? And it's funny because I'm thinking this is like really base level thinking. Like, this is like the origin. This is like, you know, when would a woman think things like that? Because I think as a woman, we pride ourselves in being very caring and kind and compassionate and thoughtful and loving. So when would you think you would have like thoughts that are not those attributes? You know, if you think about like death, or you think about your ability to kill, or kill yourself, or kill your kid, or you think about, you know, like, to me, that's pretty violent stuff, you know, and it would be just like a passing thought. But then I would think, like, why did you think that? Like, how did that enter your mind? And in the book, she mentions it. She says, don't be afraid of having obscene thoughts, having disturbing thoughts. That's part of like the primal base level beginning of the origin of women. And it's part of like our wildness, you know. And I just thought, oh my gosh, like she spoke to something that I've never shared with anybody. I've never shared that I had these disturbing thoughts, because I was kind of embarrassed of them. You know, I was thinking, you know, who thinks those things? Me, you know, me of all people. I would never think those things. And if I did, I certainly wouldn't share about them. But I do have them from time to time, and they're so random, and I never really understand what they're about. But she speaks directly to me when she said, don't be afraid when you have those thoughts. You know, it's, you know, and as a refined woman, you know, we might be taught like we don't spit, or the word moist, you know, is like, or don't sweat, and you know, like there's a lot of like strangeness about what defines a woman and what makes her sophisticated, what makes her feminine. When, if you break it down to the rawness in the beginning, and the moistness, you know, like you think about like the messiness of life, like bringing birth, like when you have a child, the birth process is messy, the reproduction process is messy, like there's a lot of liquid and slime, and you know, like there's a lot of life in a way, you know, like those, like that's kind of like the essence of life. Like you need dirt and grime and slime and water for plants to, you know, exist. And for us, like we need water, and we have all this liquid within us, and we excrete these things, and it can be seen as gross, but also it's very much a part of life. And it just blew my mind when she said what she said. It just made so much sense, and it just opened up my eyes, and it made me think twice about the intuition we have as women. And it's okay to have disturbing thoughts. It's okay to have primal base thoughts. It's okay to not be refined and sophisticated. It's fine not to always be made up with perfect hair and makeup and all that stuff. All of it. So go check out the book. If any of this stuff resonates with you, it's a must read. It's called Women That Run with Wolves. Yes, real talk for sure. Fly Honey 77. Go check out the book Fly Honey because it blew my mind. So the book's called Women That Run with Wolves. She has it in Kindle format. She has it in book format. I want to say the mass print format's the cheapest on Amazon for $7 or something. She has it on an abridged version, 2-hour abridged version on Audible. You can buy the unabridged CDs. I know, CDs for like $20 or something, but the audio portion, the Audible version, like she is such a gifted storyteller that I highly, highly recommend you listen to her tell her stories because it was such a treat. I felt like I was sitting at the storytelling circle time at the library and there was this gifted storyteller that I got to sit in front of and listen to this beautiful story unfold. Like that's how gifted she is. So I'm really excited about, so I actually purchased the $20 of CDs that are gonna come. We don't have a CD player. The only CD player I have is the one in my car. So I'll be listening to her stories in my car, but she just, the way that she tells stories, her voices, like she would talk about the part of the witch and she talked about the part of Vesselina, and it was amazing. So good. Yes. So you got it already? Okay. If you don't have it, get it. Fly Honey 77 because I was floored. She's so talented. Yes. So go check it out. And it really made me think about my purpose, my life purpose here as a woman. And, I recently received a download during one of my neurodynamic breathwork sessions that my life purpose is to be a life Sherpa. A Sherpa is an expert mountaineer that guides fellow souls up their climb up the mountain. And for me, the mountain represents the journey a soul takes to access the multiverse within them, their highest, the highest intelligence, the divinity in them, the multiverse within them, their oneness, their connectedness, their God source. And I've been blessed with a Sherpa. I've been up that climb. And that's what I do for a living, is I help fellow souls in their climb up the mountain. And one of the visions I had was just the role of a woman in general and how much it's transformed. Like before, it was like she was like a co-partner or a inferior partner to the man. And then now the tables have shifted. She is an equal, if not even more of a lead in the partnership. And the role of a woman in society, in this world, on this planet, and this humanity, this planet, like it's just completely shifted. And this book helped me really remember that and really access that and really be grounded and in tune with it. So I'm really looking forward to this journey that I have that is upcoming with helping fellow souls, mostly women, really transform the role that they play in their own life and their empowerment and their mission to really transform themselves, their relationships, including the ones with their spouses, their husbands, their significant others, their lovers, their loved ones, their family, their friends, their coworkers, their colleagues, all the people they interact with. Just the role of women we're on this cusp of this amazing movement, and I'm so grateful I get to be a part of it. And reading that book just really solidified things and just really hit it home for me. So if any of this resonates with you, I'm super excited. It's so good. Like this movement that is coming is so good. With that said, if you are looking to transform your life, you're looking to access that divinity within you that I speak of, you're interested in living a meaningful, fulfilling, enlightened life, then sometimes you use a expert mountaineer to help guide you up your climb. That's what I do for a living as a life Sherpa. So I offer coaching services. I help you with your climb. I help you access all of the power that you have that already exists within you. You just may not know how to access it. So that's what I do for a living. Currently, I offer on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Texas time, I do group weekly coaching sessions. And the first half hour, we'll talk about a concept that are practices that you can use to really develop and live a deeply meaningful life. I call it a soul elevated life. And then the second half hour is a mini coaching session. So we'll dig into examples, or we'll go into like what's going on in your life, or we'll focus on an area of your life that you would like to transform. And then that's what I do for Wednesdays. And then on right now, currently, I recently launched a money course, a 28-day transformative money course. So if you're looking to transform your relationship with money, then that's a course I offer as well. And then I'm also collaborating with Michael Stone, who's the creator of Neurodynamic Breathwork. If you want to learn more about Neurodynamic Breathwork, check out breathworkonline.com. And starting on the 27th, which is a Saturday, it's either 27th or 28th of May, the last Saturday of the month, I'll be teaching at 12 noon Texas time, 10 a.m. Pacific time. I'll be teaching a relationships course, and that will be going on every 2 weeks. And then I also offer one-on-one private coaching if you're looking to have the fastest amount of transformation in the least amount of time. Like if you hire a private teacher, a dance teacher, you learn the fastest. Same thing with a coach. Same thing with a life Sherpa. It's the same thing. So, you can go to a group exercise course, or you can have a yoga teacher that will teach you one-on-one. Whatever works for you, whatever fits in your budget. Whatever stage you're at in your life, the world is your oyster. So we got lots and lots of options. Check out my website, elevatedlife.com, and check out all the stuff I offer. Super duper exciting stuff. I'm super duper duper excited. So with that said, it is time for bed. So I send you love, light, profound clarity, infinite possibility to create the life you desire to live, one that is aligned with your soul's expansion, growth, and purpose always. Always, always, always. Here's you living a soul elevated life. Good night, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, Fly Honey. Bye, Erdem Kalak. Have a good night.